At Bianchi Honda, we want to exceed your expectations for customer service. From our gorgeous showroom and accommodating staff to our extraordinary selection of Honda vehicles and industry-leading service department. Your vehicle should be the best choice for you, and you can find it here at Bianchi Honda. I'm Jason Perico, and I promise to always make it worth a visit.
Good evening, everybody. James Arlakorchik with Gannon football coach Brad Rzyczycki. Of course, obviously, the Gannon University Football Coaches Show. Coach, congratulations, first of all, a big win.
Thanks, Jimmy. It's a good road win for us.
Yeah, I mean, 2-0, and a comeback win. Everything just, falls into place, all the questions and everything. What you talk about the biggest improvement from the first to the second week, was there a category where you had the biggest improvement?
I don't know that we did, to be honest with you. I think we made more mental mistakes in game 2 than we did game 1. But prepping the kids, we talk every week about what we need to do to potentially win a football game. And I know offensively we talked about matching their defensive toughness. Defensively, we wanted to stop 22 and not let 10 run out of the pocket, their quarterback. But we really focused on the heat. I mean, we knew we were going to go there and it was going to be 96 degrees. So we talked about our kids and we talked about using it to empower us as opposed to play the victim. And we did. The kids listened to everything we said. And I told them, we were going to cut time off of pregame. We weren't going to practice on Friday. We were going to make sure they had their energy when they're off on the sidelines. And we were going to run an up-tempo offense all day to try to tire them out. And, Jimmy, to be honest with you, getting down 17-0, we stuck with the plan. The kids believed in it. And I think it really had a factor in the second half. I thought we had more legs because of the preparation we did with the kids. And we continued to play fast. And give credit to them. So as long as we'll still play fast, but I think there were more mental errors because maybe it was more complicated of a scheme against Shippensburg as it was Southern Connecticut. But there was a lot of opportunities on film to learn. But I was proud of those guys, man. That's, I got a really good text message after the game about, what I was thinking after the game. You go down 17-0 on the road, a team that doesn't lose at home, and you come back and win, you got to have a team. The definition of a team. Because a lot of times when that happens, there's pointing fingers, there's guys doing their own thing. These guys never wavered the entire game, came out and took advantage of some opportunities on a kickoff return and never looked back. So I'm proud of those guys. They are the definition of a team right now. And we're only 2 games into it, but that was a good win for us.
How hot was it on the field?
I think the real field temperature was 104. I think it was 96 degrees temperature-wise outside, but on the turf it's always warmer. So it was important that when we got off the field, those guys got the ice towels around them and sat on the bench. They did everything I asked them to do from the heat standpoint, and it helped. They did a great job. We had rotations left and right on the field to get more people into the game, but it was good.
Warmest game you ever involved in, you think?
Some of those Lake Erie games when the humidity was really, devastating. But, yeah, it was one of the more heated games that we've played in. Plus, we're on the road, so we only traveled 56 players. So from, a personnel standpoint, that's all you got. So if you're going to rotate them, you got to keep them fresh.
Why were you down 17-0?
Not a good start for us. I mean, this seems to be 2 years ago our Achilles heel coming out. The wind was a little bit of a factor. They kicked off. We went 3 and out on offense, didn't get a great punt. And the difference of offenses against this new-faced defense, we struggled a little bit for what they were doing, how they were attacking us. And, they got the first 7 in. We did the same thing. Next thing you know, it's 14-0. We faked a punt, which was a stupid call on my part for the most part. And we went 3 and out, and they kicked the field goal. And after that, Jimmy, we settled down. We methodically drove the ball, used our up-tempo offense, and we went out and got a ton of 3 and outs on defense. So it was bad start, bad call on my part early on, but we persevered.
Why did you think a fake punt was going to work, and why didn't it?
Well, there was kind of a choice part of it. I kind of left the option up to the kid because we did some rugby stuff on Saturday. And, if there's a couple guys bailing, which Shippensburg on film has shown to just bail everybody.
Right.
So, we thought if we run out of the pocket.
Read by your punter?
Yeah, but I should never have put him in that position to be able to do that on the road in that situation. So I take complete blame for that part of it. And
so they didn't bail?
No, there was a couple there to meet him. We went from -2 yards on that fake punt. But you're on the road, take your chances. You know how I am. I'm going to take my chances on the road and see if it works.
All right, did you make any adjustments at 17-0 or the half, or did they just start, as you said, maybe getting the flow of the game and executing?
I think it's the flow of the game. Every week, it used to be different with Liam to see how people were going to defend the pass game against us. It may be different now to see how people are getting in their run fits with the way we're able to run the football now. But it was just getting into the flow of the game and find out how they were attacking us.
Are these crossover games counting? Do they
No,
count
they
now?
took that back out now. So they're just independent games, I
Right.
guess, in the
Counting
PSAC.
the region, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Obviously. All right, huge game coming up at home. Rugged schedule. You got Southern Connecticut, who was one of the favorites in their league. You've got Shippensburg, who was picked second in the East. Now you have the team that was picked first, which isn't a surprise, Bloomsburg. They're undefeated. And what have you seen on film from them, Coach?
Yeah, we've had an opportunity to play Bloom 4 times, I think, since I've been a coordinator and a head coach here. And same scheme, different faces. They're going to get here on Saturday and be enormous up front with their offensive line and do what they do. They run the ball well. But, the difference with them right now is I think they got a quarterback that got a really live arm, number 15. So he threw the ball for 200 and some odd yards last week, which, Jimmy, Bloomsburg, 200 yards throwing the ball is a lot for them because normally they're running it for 350 or 400, whatever they do. So, yeah, we've got that to contend and deal with, but they're big physical kids. Nothing's changed there. And defensively, they're a lot like Shippensburg where they're sound and they make you earn every absolute yard that you get out on that field. And they communicate and they do a good job. And the thing with Bloomsburg is they're filled with experience. They always are. They redshirt a ton of kids when they get them. So this year is no different. They have 10 seniors, which are all redshirt seniors except for one, their tailback, and then the 8 juniors starting for them. So that's 18 kids again that are seniors and juniors that all have been redshirted except for one kid. So they've all been there for 4 and 5 years. So you're dealing with an experienced team from that matter. So they know the system and what they do. They don't change a ton. They don't window dress like Shippensburg. They're going to do what they do, and they do it well.
You're 2-0, but you're still young. Are you still looking at personnel changes, or how are you addressing the team despite the fact you're 2-0?
Yeah, I think we've really emphasized the point of competition, and that's going to last the entire year. If a kid's not getting it done, we'll make a change and we'll start rotating more kids in. I think the biggest thing for us was we wanted to get the young kids that were playing, the true freshmen, in and not overwhelm them with a ton being in the ball game early on. So now those guys that have been on the field that are freshmen, we're game 3. Those guys are going to see more time depending on the success they've had those previous 2 games. So we're always looking to make sure that we do what we have to do to win ball games. And if that means a personnel change, absolutely we'll do it.
Are you adding to the offense, with Zach Phillips being a first-year starter? Do you still add every week different things, bring him along slowly, or does he have the full arsenal?
Well, I think with Zach's experience and how long he's been here, we can open up the playbook, but there's certain things that he just does well, and Tyler Palka is a mirror image of Zach, so it really fits for what we're doing offensively. But a lot of it has to do with, what defense we're facing, and we're facing a 4-3 this week, and those guys face a 3-3 versus us in practice. So, it's going to be dependent on is a quarters coverage. So what part of the playbook do we put in there? There'll be certain specialty things that we're going to put in every game, but we don't want to overwhelm scheme. Absolutely don't want to do that with those guys. Not so much that they're young, but we just want them to get really good at what we do, as opposed to overwhelm with so much they're just hesitant, and that's not the way we want to play. We want to play fast.
Talking with Gannon football coach Brad Rzyczycki. Coach, what's been the biggest surprise, whether it be a unit or an individual? What really has jumped out at you after 2 games?
I think the maturity level with this team, because Jimmy, walking into it, you don't know because there's so many new faces on this team. But to go down 17-0, I don't know that I had a group in the past that would have came back from that game. There's 4 starters back from the previous team, but to be able to handle that and not freak out and go out there and methodically get yourself back into a ball game, I think that surprised me, because walking into this whole thing, I told you a million times, I'm as excited as anyone to go see these kids play, because what we've seen in practice and what we've seen off the field was a very mature group, a team that has leaders on it that was just different, and the culture is there. So you're waiting to see your product on the field. And the way they handled Saturday with the heat, and they didn't fight amongst each other, and they bought into what we were doing with them. It's a really mature group for not playing together, but 2 games to this point. So that's been surprising and satisfying in a lot of ways. But I'm proud of those guys from that standpoint. We got to make sure we continue that.
For lack of a better term, can this be a gauge game to see how far along you are? Is Bloom that good that you can say, all right, this is where we're at.
Well, I think that's fair enough to say some type of gauge. I tell those kids, and we deal with this all the time, I'm not in the prediction business of whether or not we're going to win or lose ball games. I tell those guys, play as hard as you can and play the schemes that we're telling you to play, and we'll live with the results. If you just go out and play hard, we'll figure it out, and whether win, lose, or draw at the end of the game, I love those guys out there, and I'll have their back. But right now those guys are going out and winning, and maybe it will be some type of a gauge. We understand what Bloomsburg brings to the table, so we'll see how this one ends out.
Great action coming Saturday. Coach Rzyczycki, again, 2-0, tremendous start.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, I'm James R. Back to the Blitz, everybody.